All right, so been thinking recently about identity. I was writing yesterday around identity. I wrote uh, villanelle poem, I think, and I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed the process, but I have been really thinking around the meaning of identity, and it's been something that I've certainly struggled with, in the past, because I do believe if you tell like a child that they are X, Y, and Z, they will more often than not go and fulfill that expectation. If you treat them acting out, and if you respond to that by reinforcing that that's like their identity, by saying to their parent or to another person of authority in the classroom that they're just a wee troublemaker and they just love to act up, then your brain like saves that as a little template, and it says, okay, then that's what we're doing. Because your brain just looks for attention and love are quite quantitative, aren't they? And if you're getting attention, your brain will save whatever it is that format was to repeat that, and it's like, okay, that's a good thing. And that's why we drive ourselves so much in terms of a direction to continually fulfill ourselves of this need of attention, this need of love. And I just, the more I've been consuming media recently, and the more I've been seeing different things in the news, it all does relate back to identity. I think truly the idea of, if a person sees himself as being like a king or queen or something, then they will essentially live up to that. They will envision themselves in that and kind of embody it fully. Versus if you see yourself as, the victim, as someone who is, trod upon and faces great hardship, but inevitably is always given the shorter straw, then that's kind of what you're going to continually become. And I suppose we could see the idea of that really echo forward in terms of the identities that we see people assume online. Like someone joining like the incel community and viewing themselves as a victim of modern feminism or ideas, of sexual vibrancy. So really, that's what people do. People seek out echo chambers. I mean, look at the political landscape. Don't really want people just want to hate. People want to hate, and they want to be told who to hate, and people love to be told that they're right in who they're hating. It doesn't take a flipping genius to figure that out. And I suppose I'm all over the map on this rant, but overall, honestly, identity is a struggle. Identity is something that we all need. Identity is something that we all kind of crave. And it can destroy us. And it can destroy many powerful things. If you assume yourself as part of a larger mass with shared values, then that is something innately human. The desire for answers, the desire for reassurance, that is all very human. And it's just so unfortunate that all too often a time that identity and that reassurance is wrapped up in such horrible belief systems of nationalism and sexism, and of thinking I'm not the problem, and moreover what I like can't be the problem because I like it, therefore the other people are the problem, and I just need to say it louder for it to be true. But anyway, I am feeling positive after doing all this stuff. This is the Attempt to Understand series. If you would like more, I primarily write these essays as written pieces on the platform Substack, so there'll be a link to that in the description if you feel like checking that out and reading the full kind of essay on identity. I will go over the poem that I wrote yesterday. Again, creative expression and writing is something I'll dive a lot deeper into in terms of the content that you'll be seeing. But when I wrote the poem, just kind of throughout the day, and I read over it, it felt extremely just crap. It just felt very cliche and like, what was it really saying? But to be honest, in rereading it as I was finishing off the poem, I came to actually enjoy it much more. So I'm going to grab that now and we'll read over that. Okay. So the poem is called Where Did I Go? Where did I go? I've been missing the old me. Can't tell the flakes from the snow. Questions I ask my cup of joe. Lately, this persona has a fee. Where did I go? Pick a new me from the row. Pray this one won't drain my energy. Can't tell the flakes from the snow. Blizzards blind my mind's flow. Powerful breeze, weak knee. Where did I go? Tried to re-roll in life's casino. Rejected, replaced. I hope for ease. Can't tell the flakes from the snow. Maybe it's this rocky home, so I'll pack up my bags and loyalties. Where did I go? Can't tell the flakes from the snow. So that's that little piece. Like I said, it was just kind of written throughout the day. I've been enjoying doing a little poem exercise and such each day and trying to really broaden the work that I'm trying to put out there. But it's so difficult, honestly, in terms of managing everything and dealing with the world now. Even just looking on your phone and seeing the crap that happens. It's like, if you look at that at the start of your day, your energy is just drained immediately, like three power levels, just down, because you're just mentally, encapsulated by all of this crap. But anyway, look, if you've watched this far, I appreciate that. Thank you for continuing to watch. This has not been the most stimulating content ever created, obviously, and you've really made an achievement to yourself for actually finishing nearly a 10-minute piece of content that does not have consistent Mr. Beast jumps and all that crap. But yeah, look, the point of this video, I would say, is really just to have a stepping stone to begin communicating, my ideas, my creativity, and what I've been thinking about recently. And that's what I've been thinking about recently. I've been thinking about identity, what identity means to ourselves, and the knock-on effects that identity can have to a society, when we subscribe ourselves to larger mentalities and we start to lose that individualism. But yeah, thank you for joining me. Hopefully everything is going well in your wee world. Certainly leave a comment or thread or something, and let me know if you have any thoughts about anything discussed today. I would love to go back and forth with some people and again widen that network a wee bit more. But otherwise, it is the morning for me. So if it's the morning for you, good morning. Hopefully the rest of your day goes well. Otherwise, I hope you're doing well wherever you are, in the afternoon or the evening. And just remember that everything's going to be okay. The world is in a terrible place. Everything is on fire. And that sucks. But it's going to be okay. You don't got to figure stuff out today. You can sort your identity out, in an hour, so you can write it down or something. Don't be panicking, because I know I panic too much for all of us. But yeah, thank you again for watching. Have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.